The stars were quiet. Space was dark and calm. Then suddenly a sound broke the silence. It was not a loud sound. It was weak. It was soft. But it was filled with fear. A cry was moving through the galaxy. It was a message from a faraway alien world. One simple message: help us. They are coming. This message reached many planets. Hundreds of alien races heard it. Some were old and wise. Some were powerful. But when they heard the voice, they became afraid. They remembered stories of a dark enemy, a race that attacked without warning, a race that destroyed everything in its path. Many aliens closed their ears. "We cannot help," they said. "We must hide." The cry continued, moving through space like a ghost. One by one, the stars heard the call, but no one answered. The weak alien race who sent the message waited in fear. Their skies turned black. Their people cried. Their leaders had no plan. All they could do was hope someone would come, someone strong, someone brave. Then, the message reached Earth. The humans listened in silence. They studied the voice. They looked at the words. They checked the location. The leaders of Earth did not hold meetings. They did not ask questions. They did not talk about peace. Instead, they gave one order: send the fleet. Giant ships rose from Earth, big as cities, dark as the night. These were warships. They were not made to save lives. They were made to end wars. Soldiers entered the ships. Their faces showed no fear. These were not normal humans. These were the ones trained for battle. Their name was known across the stars: the deathworlders. Other alien races watched in shock. "Why are the humans answering?" they asked. "They are not kind. They do not show mercy." Many aliens were scared. "If the deathworlders go," they said, "things will get worse." But the humans did not care. They were already on the move. Their engines lit up the skies. Their ships crossed the stars fast, too fast. No one could stop them. No one dared to try. Far away on the weak alien planet, the people saw something strange in their sky. Black clouds. No, ships. Giant human ships entering orbit. The ground shook. The air buzzed. The aliens looked up in fear. "Who have we called?" they whispered. "Are these saviors or new monsters?" A signal came from the human fleet. It was short. It was cold. "This is Earth. We received your call. Prepare for contact." The alien leaders stood together. They did not know what to do. They had cried for help, not war. But now war had come to them. Human dropships fell from the sky. Troops landed on the ground. Drones flew in the air. Tanks rolled over the hills. The deathworlders had arrived. One alien child looked up at the human soldiers. Their armor was black. Their helmets hid their faces. Their guns looked like machines of death. But they did not shoot. They did not speak. They only looked, watched, waited. That night, the alien skies were full of human ships. Fires burned on the horizon, not from attack, but from the engines of landing crafts. Human machines began building camps, towers, walls, weapons. The alien people watched with fear and hope. Was this the help they asked for? Or had they made a terrible mistake? In the command ship above the planet, the human general stood in silence. He looked at the screen. He watched the alien cities below. Then he gave a single order: hold the skies, prepare the ground. We are not here to save them. We are here to stop what's coming. And far beyond, in deep space, something was coming. Something fast. Something hungry. Something dark. The same enemy that destroyed many worlds was now moving again. But this time, someone was waiting for them. Not diplomats. Not peacekeepers. But deathworlders. The cry for mercy had been heard. But mercy would not come with soft hands. It came with steel. It came with fire. It came with war. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The human fleet covered the sky like a blanket. Huge warships floated above the alien world. Smaller ships moved fast between them. Lights blinked. Engines roared. It was like a second sky had arrived. One made of metal, fire, and power. The aliens who had sent the cry for help watched from the ground. Their eyes were wide with fear. These were not rescuers. These were warriors. Soldiers in black armor walked the streets. They carried weapons no one had seen before. Drones flew above their heads, scanning everything. Giant machines moved through the towns, setting up strange buildings. The humans did not speak much. They gave short orders. They worked fast. They took control. The alien leaders tried to talk. "Thank you for coming," they said. "We are scared. We don't know what to do." But the human officer only said, "Stay out of the way. We will handle it." The aliens were confused. They had cried for mercy. They thought help meant kindness. But this was not kindness. This was control. The humans didn't ask. They took what they needed: land, buildings, power. Everything was used to build defense. In space, more human ships arrived. One by one, giant carriers, missile destroyers, and stealth crafts joined the fleet. They formed a wall in orbit, strong and silent. It was clear no one would enter this planet again without a fight. Across the galaxy, alien species were watching. Some used secret satellites. Some listened to human radio waves. Others sent spy ships. Everyone wanted to know what the humans were doing, and why. The humans were known. Oh yes, they were known well. They were from Earth, a death world, a place so dangerous that only the strongest survived, a world with fire, storms, and predators, a world where even plants could kill. People from such a world had to be strong, or die. That is why the galaxy called them deathworlders. They were not famous for peace. In the past, they had fought many wars. Sometimes they won, sometimes they lost. But every time, they learned. They grew, they changed, and now they were not just warriors. They were something more, something worse, something unstoppable. So when the galaxy saw the deathworlders answer a cry for help, they became afraid. Why are they helping? Some asked. What do they want? Others whispered. Nothing they do is free. The alien planet was now under human control, not by force but by speed, by action. The humans built defense towers. They gave weapons to the strongest alien fighters. They set up training grounds. Alien soldiers were pushed to their limits. Run faster, shoot straighter, think sharper, the humans said. There was no time for fear, no time for rest. The alien leaders were unsure. You're turning our home into a military base, they said. The human general looked at them. His voice was calm but hard. You cried for help. This is help. If you don't want to be erased, follow orders. Some aliens grew angry. We didn't ask for this kind of help, one shouted. The general looked at him. No, he said. You asked for mercy, and this is what mercy looks like when the deathworlders give it. Back on Earth, human citizens watched the news. Most said nothing. Some smiled. Another cry for help, one old soldier said. They never know what they're asking for. But not all humans were happy. Some thought their leaders were too hard, too cold. Why do we answer with war? They asked. An old admiral gave the answer. Because no one else will, and because sometimes war is the only mercy the galaxy understands. Meanwhile, deep in space, scanners picked up strange signals, fast ships, dark signatures, enemy movement. The same force that had attacked the crying aliens was now heading toward the planet. The human fleet prepared. Shields rose, missiles were armed. Pilots sat ready in their fighters. Ground troops checked weapons. A strange calm fell over the planet. It was the silence before the storm. The aliens looked to the sky again. They saw the stars glowing, and behind those stars, death was coming. But now, they were not alone. They were not safe, but they were not alone. Above them stood the deathworlders, not as saviors, not as friends, but as a wall. A shield made of fury, fire, and steel. The humans had answered the cry, and whatever came next would have to go through them. The human camp grew larger every day. Metal walls rose high. Watchtowers pointed into the sky. Strange machines crawled across the ground, building faster than anything the aliens had ever seen. The humans called it a forward base. But to the aliens, it looked like a fortress. Human soldiers trained from morning till night. They moved in silence. They marched in perfect lines. Some ran with heavy packs. Others fired at targets without blinking. Their movements were sharp, cold, like machines. The aliens watched from a distance. They had once cried for help. Now they didn't know what to feel. These were not rescuers. These were warriors from a death world. The humans did not show kindness. They showed strength. One day a group of aliens came forward. They wanted to learn. They wanted to fight. "Teach us," they said to the humans. "Make us strong." The human officer looked at them. "Training starts at dawn. Don't be late." The next morning, the training began. It was hard, brutal. The aliens had never run so far, carried so much, fired so many shots. Some fainted, some gave up. But the humans did not stop. "Weakness is death," they said. "You asked for help. Now become the kind of people worth saving." Back at the command center, the human general stood over a large screen. Red dots moved across the stars. The enemy was coming closer. He turned to his second-in-command. "We have 6 days," he said. "That's all." "Will it be enough?" the officer asked. "No," the general said, "but we'll make it enough." On the alien side, things were changing too. Their people saw the human ships. Their people heard the training guns. They started to believe something strange. Maybe, just maybe, the deathworlders would not let them fall. But others were still afraid. "The humans are not saving us," one elder said. "They are using us, turning our home into a war zone." Another leader replied, "Maybe, but the enemy is worse, and the humans are here. They are the only ones who came." The humans built new weapons on the ground, giant railguns, shield towers, anti-air guns. They dug deep bunkers, laid traps. Everything was ready. Then something happened. A ship fell from the sky. It was not human. It was not friendly. It crashed into the desert just beyond the mountains. Human scouts were sent at once. Drones flew overhead. Tanks rolled toward the site. When they reached the crash, they found survivors. The enemy. They were tall and thin, black skin, red eyes. Their armor was alive, moving like skin. These were the ones who destroyed worlds, the ones who made the aliens cry for help. The humans didn't wait. They captured the survivors, took them to a deep cell. Scientists and soldiers studied them. They asked no questions. They just observed, watched, measured. One alien soldier asked a human, "What will you do with them?" The human answered, "Learn and prepare." The message was clear. No mercy for monsters. That night, the human general stood before the alien leaders. "You called for help," he said. "Now listen carefully. The enemy will be here in 5 days. You will fight beside us or you will die alone." The alien leaders were silent. Then one of them stood up. He was young, strong. His face was hard. "We will fight," he said. "We will not run again." The human general nodded once. "Good. Then we begin the final phase." All across the planet, the work doubled. Aliens trained beside humans. Human tech was given to the best alien fighters: suits, rifles, drones. The line between savior and commander faded. Now they were soldiers, together. Far in space, the enemy moved closer. The galaxy watched in fear. No one came to help. No one sent aid. They only watched. But on one small world, a wall of fire was being built. The deathworlders had come, and they were not just building defenses. They were building a war. The sky was too quiet. The stars were too still. Everyone on the alien planet felt it. Something was coming. Something big. The human radars picked it up first. A large enemy fleet was approaching fast. It would arrive in 2 days. The alien leaders met with the human general. Fear was clear in their eyes. "Can we stop them?" one leader asked. The general didn't smile. He didn't comfort them. He only said, "We will hold the sky, but it will not be easy." In orbit, the human ships moved into position. Massive carriers turned slowly. Their guns pointed at the stars. Fighters flew in perfect groups, scanning for anything strange. Defense satellites came online, their energy shields glowing blue. The humans were ready. They didn't hope for peace. They planned for war. On the ground, soldiers stood by their posts. The human officers barked final orders. Aliens and humans stood side by side now, trained, armed, ready. Then it happened. Bright lights filled the sky, not from human ships but from the enemy. They came fast and loud like a wave of darkness falling from space. Dozens of ships, long and sharp like knives. Their engines howled, their weapons glowed red. The battle had begun. The first shots came from human ships. Blue streaks of plasma ripped through space. One enemy fighter exploded in a ball of fire. The enemy answered with their own blasts. Green energy beams tore through the sky. A human ship was hit. It burned, but did not fall. Its weapons kept firing. All across the sky, the war lit up the stars. Explosions, lasers, screams. Thousands of drones joined the fight, spinning and dodging like insects. Some were shot down. Others found their targets and exploded on impact. On the planet, people watched the sky burn. The aliens were frozen with fear, until the humans shouted, "To your posts, we fight on the ground next." The enemy ships broke through the outer line. Some began to land. Their troops dropped to the surface in black pods. They crashed into the fields and hills. The pods opened, and the enemy soldiers marched out. They looked like nightmares. Tall, thin, fast. They carried weapons that melted metal. They showed no mercy. They charged the nearest defense post, but the humans were waiting. Heavy guns fired. Machine turrets roared. Human soldiers did not move back. They fought with calm faces and steady hands. Alien fighters beside them tried to copy the same courage. In one trench, an alien soldier screamed as the enemy came closer, but a human grabbed his arm. "Don't scream," he said. "Aim, fire, survive." The alien listened. He fired. The enemy fell. The battle spread. Cities turned into war zones. Skies turned black with smoke. The alien people who once hid now ran to help. Some brought supplies. Others carried the wounded. Children hid in bunkers. But even they could feel it. The humans were not running. The humans were fighting. One enemy ship tried to land near the capital city. But it was a trap. Human anti-air guns lit up and fired all at once. The ship exploded in midair. The shockwave shook the ground. Inside the command center, the human general watched the battle on many screens. His officers gave updates. North. Wall holding. East base lost. Reinforcements moving. The general nodded. Good. Keep pressure on them. Make them bleed. The enemy had expected fear. They had expected weakness. But they found something else. They found deathworlders. These were not peaceful rescuers. These were war-born protectors. They didn't beg. They didn't retreat. They pushed forward. Every inch of ground was taken back with blood and fire. One human pilot flew her fighter straight into the enemy line. Her ship was damaged. Smoke filled the cockpit. But she kept flying. She locked onto the biggest enemy cruiser and smiled. "From Earth," she said, and hit the trigger. Her ship exploded with the enemies. Both turned into fire. Back on the ground, the aliens saw it all. They had called for help weeks ago. They had expected ships and food. But what they got was war. And yet, now they were no longer afraid, because the deathworlders were with them. And as the skies burned and the enemy screamed, one thing became clear to all. The humans were not here to save them. The humans were here to win. The battle raged for 2 days and nights. Smoke filled the sky. Fire lit the ground. The enemy kept coming, wave after wave. But the humans did not stop fighting. They held the line. Every soldier knew their job. Every weapon was used. In the center of the battlefield, The alien capital city shook. Buildings cracked. Roads broke. But behind the human walls, people were still alive. The deathworlders had not let the enemy pass. At the front, a young alien soldier crouched behind cover. His hands were shaking. He had never killed before. He was afraid. Then a human soldier dropped beside him. Her armor was damaged, her arm was bleeding. But her eyes were calm. "Breathe," she said. "Aim. Then fire." The alien nodded. He aimed. He fired. The enemy dropped. The human gave a small nod. "Now do it again." He did. And again. And again. All around the planet, stories like this were happening. Aliens who once feared the humans now followed them into battle. They learned fast. They fought hard. And slowly, they began to believe. Not just in the humans, but in themselves. Far above, in space, the human fleet still fought. Enemy cruisers circled like sharks. Human battleships fired back. The stars flashed with explosions. One by one, enemy ships fell. But some human ships were lost too. In the command ship, the admiral gave new orders. "Push the second wave forward. Don't let them regroup." Fighter pilots took off again. Some would never return, but none turned away. Back on the ground, the humans prepared a risky move. They had found the enemy's command center, a large ship hidden deep in the hills. It was protected by energy shields and guarded by hundreds of soldiers. But the humans had a plan. "We go in," said the general. "We take their heart. We cut off the head." A special unit was chosen. Human and alien fighters together. They wore stealth gear. They moved fast and silent, through ruined forests, over broken hills, past dead machines. Then they reached it. The enemy base was huge. Black walls, red lights. Strange sounds echoed inside. The team moved like shadows. No talking, no fear. They planted bombs on the outer gates. Then the human leader raised her hand. "Now." The explosions lit the night. The team charged inside. Blasters fired. Screams echoed. Enemy guards fell one by one. The team reached the control room. There, they saw the enemy commander. It was taller than the others. Its armor looked alive. Its eyes burned red. It screamed and attacked. The human officer faced it. They fought hand to hand. The enemy was fast, but the human was trained for death. She took a hit. Blood ran down her face. She smiled. Then she stabbed. The creature threw its chest. It screamed once and dropped. The enemy command ship began to fall apart. The team ran out as fire swallowed the base. The sky lit up with the explosion. Back in the city, people watched the blast from afar. Then something changed. The enemy soldiers on the ground stopped moving. Some dropped their weapons. Some fled. Others stood still like they had lost all orders. The human general spoke to his officers. "Their command is gone. Push them back. All of them." And so the humans and their new alien allies chased the enemy across the planet, block by block, hill by hill, until there were no more enemy forces left. When the final shot was fired, silence fell. Not the silence of fear, but of peace. The alien people came out of their homes. They looked at the humans, those tall, dangerous, quiet warriors who had answered their call. The deathworlders had turned a planet of fear into a world of fire and steel, and now, into a world of hope. The young alien soldier stood beside his human mentor. He looked at the sky. "They're gone," he said. "For now," she replied. "But others will come. They always do," he nodded. "And we'll fight." She looked at him, then smiled. "Yes, you will." The humans had answered the cry for mercy, but they did not come with gifts or soft words. They came with war. They came with blood and fire, and they left behind something stronger than safety. They left behind warriors. The war was over, but the planet was quiet in a strange way. Buildings were broken, roads were cracked, smoke still rose from distant hills, but the sky was clear. No enemy ships, no falling fire. People walked the streets again, Cautiously, slowly, children peeked out from shelters. Mothers cried as they hugged their families. The enemy was gone. The deathworlders had driven them out. The humans didn't celebrate. They worked. Everywhere they repaired machines, cleared rubble, helped the wounded, set up water and food stations. It was not their planet, but they acted like it was their duty. The alien leaders met once more with the human general. "You saved us," they said. The general looked tired. His armor was scratched, his eyes were red, but his voice was firm. "No," he said. "We only bought you time. The real fight is what you do now." The alien leaders didn't understand. "What do you mean?" The general pointed outside the window. "We leave soon. Our job is done here. The enemy will return one day, or maybe another threat will come. You must be ready next time. You must never cry for help again. You must become like us." "Like deathworlders?" one leader asked, unsure. "Yes," the general replied. "You've seen what it takes. Now, become it." Training did not stop after the war. In fact, it became harder. Human soldiers stayed behind not to fight but to teach. They trained alien soldiers in every skill. Not just how to shoot, but how to think like warriors, how to lead, how to build defense, how to survive. The aliens changed. You could see it in their eyes. They stood taller, spoke louder. Their fear had turned into fire. They were no longer victims. They were becoming protectors. One young alien soldier asked his human commander, "Why did you come? Why help us?" The human looked at the sky for a long time before answering. "Because we remember." "Remember what?" "We were alone once too," the human said. "We cried out, no one came, so we became strong, so that no one else would feel what we felt." The alien didn't speak. He just nodded. That answer stayed in his heart. In orbit, the human fleet began to leave, one ship at a time, quietly. No flags, no farewell parades. That was not their way. They came in silence. They left in silence. But the world they left behind was not the same. The alien cities began to rebuild, stronger. Fortresses replaced towers. Training grounds replaced parks. Science labs began working on human-style weapons. A defense network was formed. No one waited anymore. No one hoped for safety from others. They would create it themselves. News of the war spread across the galaxy. Many watched in fear. Some in awe. Others in silence. One message became clear to all: never ignore a cry for help again. Because if the deathworlders answer, the galaxy will never be the same. In the darkness of deep space, in hidden corners of the galaxy, old enemies took notice. They watched the human strength, the way they fought, the way they inspired, and they began to worry. "These humans," one enemy commander said, "they are too dangerous. Then we must destroy them before they grow stronger," another replied. But someone else, hidden in the shadows, shook their head. "It's already too late. The fire has already spread." Back on the alien world, a ceremony was held. Not to honor the humans, but to mark a change. The planet was renamed. Its old name was lost in fear. The new name would mean strength, pride, hope. And beside the flag of their people, they raised another, a black banner with a single symbol, a deathworlder, skull. Not because they were conquered, but because they remembered who stood with them when no one else did. The humans didn't ask for thanks. They didn't want medals. They only gave one warning as they left. If you ever hear a cry in the dark, don't wait for us. Now the galaxy knew. A single cry for help had brought fire from the sky, but it had also brought a lesson. Deathworlders do not save the weak. They build warriors. The planet had changed. The people had changed. The aliens who once cried for mercy now walked in armor. They held weapons with steady hands. They trained every day. They remembered the humans, not just for saving them, but for waking them up. They had been weak once. Now they were strong. They had been scared once. Now they were ready. In the capital city, a large statue stood. Not of a human, not of a leader. It showed a human and an alien standing side by side, both holding weapons, both looking to the sky. Below it, the words were simple: never again helpless. Years passed. The galaxy kept spinning. New threats rose in the shadows. Pirate fleets, slave armies, old enemies with new weapons. One of those threats came to the same planet where the humans had once landed. They thought it would be easy. They thought the people were still weak. They were wrong. As soon as the enemy ships entered orbit, they were met with fire. Massive cannons, fired from the ground. Defense satellites blocked every path. Swarms of fighters launched from underground hangars. The enemy tried to land. They never made it. Alien troops, now elite soldiers, fought with skill and rage. They moved like humans. They fought like deathworlders. In every city and every base, the people stood ready. No panic, no fear, only action. The enemy fled. Few escaped. The galaxy watched in silence. A message was sent by the alien leaders. It played on every major channel in every system. We once cried for help, but someone came. They did not give us peace. They gave us strength. They gave us the fire we needed. We are no longer victims. We are deathworlders now, and we will never bow again. That message traveled fast. Some cheered, some trembled. And far away, on Earth, the message reached a quiet base hidden in the mountains. The same human general sat in his office, older now. His eyes watched the screen. A small smile touched his lips. "They did it," he said. A young officer beside him asked, "Sir, should we respond?" The general shook his head. "No, they said it all, and they're not calling for help this time." He stood up. Behind him, a large wall showed star maps, dozens of worlds marked in red, dozens more in yellow. Each one had once cried out. Each one had seen the same fire. The humans had become something more than warriors. They had become a warning. A single cry for help could change everything. Not because others would come with kindness, but because the deathworlders might answer. And, if they did, the galaxy would burn before they let the innocent fall again. From that day on, every species remembered the story. A small planet, a desperate signal, a storm of war, and the quiet, powerful monsters who had come from a death world. They were not the strongest in numbers, not the oldest in age, but they were the hardest to kill, the fiercest to fight, and the most dangerous to make angry. In the darkest places of the galaxy, whispers spread like smoke. "If you hear the humans are coming, run." But others whispered something else. "If the humans are coming, maybe we still have hope." Because mercy did not answer that first cry, but war did, and war changed everything forever.